finally, there's another 0% finance deal on the Norton Commando. But is it worth it? Yes and no. So for some background, this is a bike which has been around for actually quite a while now, but in 2021, 2022-ish, it was radically overhauled by the new owners of Norton TVS to become this bike here. Yeah, it kind of sold in pretty small numbers, but all of a sudden, this was kind of tail end of last year, there was a ridiculous finance deal on these of £69 down, 69 a month, 0%. And yeah, obviously the balloon payment was ridiculous, but it was only 2 years. So effectively, you're only paying about 1,700 quid to ride one of these for a couple of years. Now, it turned out that you could get a used one on a PCP. You weren't technically supposed to, and a couple of people, myself included, managed that, got it for even less. But yeah, that £69 deal was incredible. Now, there was another deal that was teased for absolutely ages, and it kind of came along and it wasn't really that impressive. It was 5% APR for a kickoff, so it wasn't, yeah, you were paying for the finance at that point, much bigger deposit. I think the deposit contribution from Norton was smaller as well. Fast forward to today, and actually quite recently, I think it was like a few weeks ago, Norton announced the end of production for these bikes, but I guess there's still, you know, a few left in stock, and it seems the final one you can get them on a 0% PCP. And I kind of launched this channel off the back of a good PCP deal on a Norton, so I kind of feel duty bound to report on this one and see if it's any good. On paper, you know, initially, seems pretty decent, but if you delve into the finer detail, it might not be quite as good as you'd have hoped. So the on-the-road price for these bikes now is £17,175. There's a deposit contribution from Norton for 1,500 quid. So that's, yeah, compared to, I think it was maybe even 3.5 originally, so a lot less than that, but still better than nothing. Deposit, for customer deposit, this is the important bit, 3 grand. So that's actually a little bit higher than before, and obviously a lot higher than £69. Monthly payments are less, they're only £82, and yeah, 0% APR. The annual mileage is still only 2,000, but as before, the fee for going over that is actually quite small. It's only 10p a mile, so you know you could do an extra 1,000 miles, and it's only going to be an extra 100 quid. So it's not the end of the world. I think a lot of people quite ripped on this deal originally because you know, because of the mileage limit, but you could double it, and it's only going to cost you 200 quid. And I think, well, 2,000 miles is fine on one of these. 4,000 for an extra 100, you know, a couple hundred quid, it's fine. So the final payment at the end of all that is 10,789 quid. So actually, if you look at the other deal, I've got that saved as well. So I should say actually this deal, this new deal expires the end of December. Whether or not there'll be enough stock to carry the deal through to the end of then, I don't know. But yeah, anyway, the old deal was £96.10 a month, and yeah, that's 4.9% APR. Now here's the big difference: 2.5 grand customer deposit. So yeah, more of a deposit contribution from Norton, and now that does matter. Yeah, deposit was slightly smaller at 2,500, more a month to £96.10. Annual mileage was the same, and the optional final payment on that one was just over 11 grand. So actually, if you total up everything you're paying in the 2 years, it's actually pretty similar. It's about 5 grand. So it's not like the no-brainer that 69 quid a month was, because yeah, 1,700 quid over 2 years to run one of these, perfectly fine. I guess it makes more sense if you're thinking maybe I'll keep it beyond that, because there is actually now, you know, when I got mine, I never even entertained the idea. I think everyone was thinking the market's suddenly going to be flooded at the end of it when everyone's, the end of that 2 years, when everyone's giving theirs back, the values are going to tank. But I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the case, because there still isn't that many of them. And we found out at the recall that there were still only, 600 or so affected units. So there still isn't many of these bikes, even though, they've gotten a lot more popular than they have been because of that finance deal. So who knows, maybe with how the values work out at the time, they're not going to make any more of these now. Maybe it might make sense to keep it and pay that. Obviously, I've got another year and a bit to decide whether or not I do that. I don't think I will, but who knows? We'll see what the values are doing at the time. As for me, if I, obviously I'm getting this for pittance, but if I was on the 69 quid deal, I would have been very happy, even though I have lost quite a bit of riding time on this. I've got a whole video about my 6-ish months of ownership of this, which I'll link in the description. But to kind of sum up, I really like to ride it. It's quirky to ride in some ways, but lovely engine that has bags of character, really plush, nice suspension. I really like the way it looks, despite a few shitty bits like, you know, this and this. I lost a bit of time first because of the recall, then the service was delayed because of a parts issue, and I wasn't sure how far over the mileage interval I was supposed to go. And then I lost another 3 weeks on it because of yeah, an oil leak, although to be fair, I was on holiday for some of that, so it wasn't the end of the world. So yeah, haven't been able to ride it as much as I have wanted to, but when I have ridden it, I've really liked it. Yeah, no regrets from me. Would I be spending 82 quid a month on one? Probably not. I think there are other PCP deals, I mean, like that BMW F900R deal that I spoke about the other week. Yeah, I probably wouldn't, but would you? I don't know. What we'll do, well, not actually today because the weather is kind of minging, frankly, and the roads are full of greasy horribleness. And as you can see, there's lots of nice shiny bits, which I don't really want to have to then clean afterwards. So yeah, we'll reconvene. It'll probably be tomorrow. But due to the magic of editing, in a moment I should be riding this motorbike and yeah, telling you kind of a bit more about what I think about it and whether or not, and then you can maybe decide from that if you think it's worth your £82 a month. Actually, before we do anything, I should probably just quickly look at the CR as well. Where is that? So yeah, Cafe Racer, slightly more expensive, you know, so you have to pay more if you want to be less comfortable. £96 a month, deposit again is £3 the deposit contribution is no different, total amount payable on that is £16,175, yeah, optional final payment just over 11 grand. So yeah, a bit more expensive, balloon payment's about the same. Yeah, anyway, let's ride.
So, yeah, after waiting a day for the roads to dry out, I've gone up just at the point at which it started spiffling and gone really horrible and wet again, so might be a bit more ploddy than usual, but I mean, I don't think it matters much because I've wanged on enough about how much I like this bike in various of the videos, and if you can stomach watching more than one video that I'm in the space of a day or whatever, then yeah, you can always go and watch one of those. But what I will say is that, yeah, today has not been a good day for various reasons I won't get into, but yeah, the moment I started this up, that kind of felt like it was being fixed just a little bit, and I rode it and then I opened it up a little bit and then it was fixed a little bit more. And even in this damn horribleness, I'm just enjoying being out and about and, you know, experiencing the noise and the vibrations of that old school push rod twin. Just a lovely view out you got here with this very nice cockpit, apart from those bits as I've moaned about before. Yeah, I do enjoy this bike. Yeah, not something that I looked at, was kind of tempted, like a lot of people were, by the finance deal. And here we are. But yeah, rather than talking about too much about what it's like to ride, which, ooh, wait, a bit lower gear there. Yeah, rather than talking too much about what it's like to ride, which, you know, I say I've covered before pretty extensively, we should talk about the future of Norton and, you know, whether or not there's going to be a replacement for this. We don't know yet. We do know they're making a new V4, but it kind of sounds like there's going to be some cheaper stuff as well, maybe manufactured over in India, which would make sense because yeah, Norton now has Indian owners and you can leverage some much cheaper production if you do go east, as you know a lot of manufacturers do. Yeah, something like 400. I think I said this when I compared this to a GB350S, that yeah, maybe that kind of old school spirit, but without all the blingy expensive stuff. God, this has ended up being really miserable, hasn't it, this weather? Why my camera, in case you can't see anything. Yeah, something like that would be really cool. Whether like they do a 400, I don't know, or something bigger. But yeah, a whole lot of new stuff coming. Coming up very soon, actually. It will be at EICMA, otherwise known as the Milan Bike Show, which will be early November. In the meantime, even though, you know, the end of production has been announced on these, still some in stock. You still can get one of these if you don't fancy waiting around to see what these new Nortons are like. Yeah, and if Norton does end up being taken in a bit of a different direction, if there isn't, you know, something quite like this, which remains to be seen, who knows, maybe the future values of these will actually be alright, because as I said earlier, there ain't that many of them. One thing I forgot to point out earlier actually, which I should just twist in now, is that if you don't want to go down the finance route, there is, I think, a £3 incentive. So actually, if you are able to just pay the upfront or finance it yourself for like a, you know, like a sort of low interest loan if you can get one, maybe that's a tempting route to go if you're hedging your bets that the future values of these do stay strong, which, I don't know, at the moment seems like a bit of a gamble, but I don't know. What do you think? Do you reckon the values of these will tumble and all the PCP bikes are going to start to come through, or do you think they're limited enough in terms of how many are out there that actually, you know, it will remain fairly sought after, the ones that are out there? I think what I'll do when it comes to it, when the balloon payment option comes up, if I've managed to save 12 grand, which you know, it remains to be seen, I'll probably sort of look at trading values and stuff like that and see if it's going to be worth hanging on to or not. So yeah, I've probably talked about the Norton for enough lately, and probably for the rest of the year, to be honest. So yeah, this might be the last you see of the Norton for a bit. There is some more stuff coming on my other bikes. I've got some more bits coming on the Tenere that I bought for the big tech trip, along with the big tech video itself, which I think I'll probably stick out at Christmas, because it's going to be a bit longer, and my thinking is, yeah, people might be in a sort of port and cheese fuel stupor, and therefore not mind watching what will be an above average long video of me. I think I'm going to go for, yeah, well, I've got quite a lot of footage. I don't think it's going to be a particularly short video. I'm always conscious that, yeah, I don't want to subject people to too much of me, really. But yeah, stuff on the Tenere. I'm probably going to sell that Tenere actually at some point. The Ducati project remains ongoing and has been delayed a bit by yeah, some property market shenanigans that have kind of taken over my life lately. But yeah, that's still on the agenda. It does work, the clutch works now, so that hopefully I can get the MOT'd pretty soon. And Multistrada still there, still being as awesome as ever. So yeah, that's probably sufficient rambling from me. Please do like the video, subscribe and do all that stuff. And let me know in the comments, are you tempted by the latest PCP deal? Were you tempted by the previous one on the 5% or whatever it was APR? Yeah, or you know, and if you do have one, what are you thinking about the end of the deal? Are you gonna, do you reckon you might stick with it or cut your losses? Let me know in the comments. Yep, bye. Might as well hear a bit more of it. Yeah. Good noise, good bike.